Hello dear students, I hope you are doing well. So in today's lecture video, we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is circulatory system. So let's begin. By reading this chapter, you will be able to explain the main parts of the circulatory system. You will be able to enlist all the components of blood and types of blood vessels. Next, you will be able to take your own or others' pulse. Next, you will be able to demonstrate the significance of exercise and good food habits in keeping the heart healthy. So let's begin. So circulatory system. Here, this term circulatory comes from circulation. Circulation or transportation. That is circulation or transportation of some kind of materials or substances in our body. So what kind of substances are they? Let's find out. So first I want to tell that food and oxygen, these two are the basic requirements for us to carry out metabolic activities. So for our basic survival, these two things are important, food and oxygen. Okay, and for their transportation in our body, circulatory system is required. So here it is written that circulatory system is required for the transportation across the body or throughout the body. Next, come to the circulatory system in human beings. So there is about 5.5 liters of blood in an adult human being, and around 16 liters of blood is pumped by our heart in a day. So blood helps to transport various substances throughout our body, and those various substances could be hormones, proteins, some kind of nitrogenous waste, etc. Next, come to the components of circulatory system. So basically our circulatory system is made up of three things: heart, blood vessels and blood. These are the three main components of circulatory system. So let's discuss each of them in detail one by one. First, heart. So our heart looks like this. Okay, so this blue artery, this is the pulmonary artery. Here the word pulmonary. So pulmo word is related to lungs, right? And this is pulmonary vein. This is coronary artery, left ventricle. This is right ventricle, inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, aorta or aorta, pulmonary vein, right atrium. We will discuss all these parts in detail later. First, come to the location of our heart. So our heart is located in our chest cavity, and it is slightly towards the left side of our body. Our heart weighs around 2 to 5 grams to 350 grams, and it pumps around 16 liters of blood in a day. This we have already discussed. Next, our heart is a pear-shaped organ, and the size, it is a clenched fist. So when you see your clenched fist, okay, so this is the actual size of our heart. Our heart is protected by rib cage. Rib cage provides protection to our heart and the various arteries, veins and muscles of our heart too. Next, structure of heart. So first, it's important to know about pericardium. So pericardium is a double-layered membrane, and it is a flap-like thin covering on the surface of heart. So our heart is surrounded by this layer, pericardium. Next, come to the structure of heart. So first, chambers. So there are 4 chambers in our heart. Those 4 chambers are 2 auricles or 2 arteria. They are 2 in number, and ventricles. They are also 2 in number. So these auricles or arteria, these are upper smaller chambers. These upper smaller chambers are arteria or auricles, and lower and large chambers are known as ventricles. So this is the right ventricle and this is the left ventricle. So these ventricles, if you could see in the diagram, these are large, okay, and these auricles or atrium, these are smaller, comparatively smaller. Next, come to the functions of auricles or atrium or ventricles. So first is the function of auricles, the upper 2 smaller chambers, right? So these two, basically they receive blood from different parts of our body, and they collect all the blood from our body parts to heart. Okay, so basically auricles collect blood from the various parts of our body, and they give that blood, they supply that blood to our heart. Next, come to the function of ventricles. These two are the ventricles, and they pump blood from our heart to different parts of our body. So basically we get oxygenated blood in all the body parts with the help of our heart, and basically especially with the help of these 2 lower chambers, ventricles. Now come to the arterioventricular valves present in our heart. So arterioventricular valves, then this terminology suggests that arterioventricular, between auricles or atrium or ventricle, between atrium and ventricle. Okay, so these valves are present between auricles or atrium and ventricles on each side of our heart. Let me show you with the help of a diagram. So these are the valves in our heart. So this is the pulmonary valve. Okay, this passage or this flap-like structure. Okay, this opens and closes itself. So this is the pulmonary valve. This is the tricuspid valve, and this is the aortic valve. This is mitral valve. So what's the main function of these valves? These valves help in preventing the backflow of blood, or they facilitate the flow of blood in one direction, that is unidirectional blood supply, right? Next is septum. So septum separates blood of right side of the heart from left side of the heart, because no valves are present between 2 auricles or between 2 ventricles. Let me show you with the help of a diagram. So no valve is present between these 2 atrium. No valve is present between these 2 ventricles. Valves are always present between an atrium and a ventricle, right? Here and here, not like this and this. So basically septum is present between 2 atrium and 2 ventricles, and valves are present between 1 atrium and 1 ventricle. Now come to another topic, that is blood vessels. So blood vessels are those vessels or those pipe-like or tube-like structures in which blood flows. So blood vessels are of 3 types: arteries, veins and capillaries. So this part is the artery, this is the vein, and their network forms capillaries, right? So capillaries basically, capillaries form the network where artery and veins meet, right? So there are some major differences between artery and vein. So artery is known as the distributing vessel and vein is known as the collecting vessel, because artery distributes blood from heart to all the body parts, and veins collect blood from all the body parts, and it provides the blood from all the body parts to our heart. So therefore it is known as the collecting vessel, and this is known as the distributing vessel. Next, artery, it is pink in color, vein is red in color. Next, artery is deep located, artery is located very deep inside our skin, and vein is superficial in their location. Superficial means if you could see in your hand, this is the vein. This green or blue color tube like structures, these are veins. Next, blood flow with high pressure in case of an artery, and in veins the blood flows with low pressure. Next, the wall of artery is strong, thick and elastic. Next, wall of the vein is weak, thin and non-elastic. All the arteries carry oxygenated blood, that is pure blood. I am writing down here, that is pure blood. So all the arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary arteries. So here is the exception, that all the arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Like this, all veins carry deoxygenated blood, that is impure blood except pulmonary veins. So pulmonary word is related to lungs, as we have already discussed. Next, internal valves are absent in arteries and internal valves are present in veins. Next, capillaries. Capillaries form a well established or a well connection. Capillaries form a good connection between arteries and veins. This also we have already discussed. So the wall of the capillaries are thin. Next, come to the another topic, that is blood. So blood is a connective tissue basically in our body. So connective tissues are those tissues which connect one part of our body to another. Since blood helps to transport various substances from one part of our body to another, right? This is the only way or channel. So therefore, since it connects, it is known as connective tissue. And besides this blood, bones are also connective tissues in our body. Next, blood is red in color. It flows inside the blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. I am writing down here arteries, veins and capillaries. Blood consists of plasma and cells. So plasma is the liquid part of our blood and it is also made up of cells. There are various types of cells, RBCs, WBCs and blood platelets. Okay. Now let's discuss each of them in more detail. First, come to the liquid part of our blood, that is plasma. So it is a yellowish colored fluid and it consists of 90% of water and nutrients, waste products and hormones. Next, the cellular part of our blood, that is blood cells. These are of three types: RBCs, WBCs and platelets. RBCs stands for red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. Red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. So these are also known as erythrocytes. So here erythro means red in color and cytes means cells. So those cells which are red in color in our blood, that is the type of RBCs, red blood cells. Next, WBCs, that is white blood cells or white blood corpuscles. Okay, and they are also known as leukocytes. So here cytes means again cells and leuko means white or colorless. White or colorless. Next, come to another type, that is platelets. So platelets are also known as thrombocytes. Here cytes means cells and thrombo means a special type of protein which is present there, right? So platelets help in blood clotting. Let's discuss each of them in more detail. Next is RBCs. This is the first type. So RBCs are red in color and in our RBCs hemoglobin is present. Hemoglobin, basically it is the respiratory pigment and it carries oxygen in our blood and it gives our blood red color. Next, WBCs. WBCs or white blood cells or white blood corpuscles or leukocytes, they destroy germs and help in fighting infection. Okay, so whenever you have an infection in your body, the number of WBCs increase, right? So therefore they are known as the soldiers of our body. Soldiers of our body, it is written here, because they protect you as our soldiers do. Next, platelets or thrombocytes. So they help in blood clotting in case of blood loss in an injury, right? So along with the presence of platelets, some other things are also important for our blood to get clot, right? So those are some vitamins, like vitamin K is also responsible, and mineral, calcium mineral is important. Okay? Calcium and magnesium. Calcium and magnesium minerals are important. Next, in dengue fever, the number of platelets reduce and patient shows bleeding gums, nose, bruising and blood in urine and stool. So the patient shows such symptoms where there is the blood flow or bleeding shows. Why? Because platelets help the blood to get clot. Okay, but if in case the number of platelets get reduced, then they'll not perform their functions, and as a result the blood flows continuously. Next, functions of blood. So our blood performs many functions in our body. Number one, it transports food and oxygen to each and every cell. And since it transports food and oxygen in each cell, because of this oxygen, the food molecules or especially the glucose molecules in our body, they get oxidized, and as a result energy is produced or energy is liberated, which we use to perform our daily tasks or our routine work. Next, blood transports waste products. They could be nitrogenous waste like urea, uric acid, etc. to excretory organs in kidneys, lungs and intestine. For example, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide needs to be expelled out from our bodies. So carbon dioxide will be reached first to our lungs and then our lungs expel it out. Next, blood provides protection against infection, since a very important type of blood component, that is WBCs, they are present in our blood. They are also known as soldiers of our body. This we have already discussed. Next, because of the presence of blood platelets in our blood, blood clotting is possible, right? So in case of any injury, our blood gets clot, right? Next, blood is also very important to regulate the body's temperature. So let's discuss another topic, that is blood circulation. So blood circulation, in this topic we'll study about two types of pathways or circuits which are formed during the blood circulation. Number one type is the systemic type and another one is the pulmonary type. So let's begin this cycle from here, right? For example, in our kidneys, the blood gets filtered, right? As a result, most of the impure blood gets separated from that of the pure blood. And that impure blood or oxygenated blood is carried out by superior and inferior vena cava. Okay? And these two, superior and inferior vena cava. So basically, a superior vena cava collects impure blood from the upper body parts, for example, our head or hands, right? And inferior vena cava collects impure blood from our lower body parts, for example, our feet, legs, etc. So superior and inferior vena cava, they both carries deoxygenated blood or impure blood from our body, and then superior and inferior vena cava give blood or supply blood to our right atrium. Okay, then it moves down, and from the right ventricle the blood goes to our pulmonary artery. Still the blood is deoxygenated, and with the help of this pulmonary artery the blood reaches to all the branches of pulmonary artery and capillaries of lungs. Here, with the help of lungs, this deoxygenated or impure blood gets pure, or it gets oxygenated. So lungs basically convert deoxygenated blood to oxygenated. As a result, the blood becomes oxygenated here. Now it carries oxygenated blood, it is written here. So pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood, and this oxygenated blood or pure blood gets entered in the left atrium of our heart, and it goes down further to the left ventricle, and from there, with the help of aorta or aorta, this is the main artery present in our heart. With the help of aorta or aorta, the blood goes to the branches of dorsal aorta, and this oxygenated blood is supplied to all the body parts. And again, this oxygenated blood gets purified, and again this oxygenated blood goes to our kidney. From there, the deoxygenated blood or pure blood or impure blood, these two types of blood get separated, right? And again this cycle goes on. So this circuit is known as pulmonary circuit or pulmonary type of circulation, where lungs are involved. And where lungs are not involved, that part or that type of circulation is known as systemic circulation. Since the blood goes in our heart 2 times, right? So therefore it is known as double circulation, since circulation occurs 2 times. Next, heartbeat and pulse. First, heart muscles. So heart muscles are the cardiac muscles. Cardiac word is related to heart. So cardiac muscles contract and relax, means contract and relax to pump the blood. When our heart muscles relax, it means they are ready to receive blood, and when they contract, it means they are ready to squeeze out the blood from upper auricles to the lower ventricles, or they are ready to give blood downward. Contraction of heart causes blood to flow through arteries with a pressure. Next, blood passes through the valves, and about these valves we have already discussed. These valves get closed and produce a sound. That sound is known as heartbeat. That is lub, dub, lub and dub. Next is heartbeat rate. In a child, 90 to 100 times per minute. It is 90 to 100 times per minute in a child. In an adult, it is 70 to 80 times per minute. And as a result of some exercise, as a result of some intense exercise or some heavy workouts, the heartbeat rate increases. This is the stethoscope. Stethoscope is an instrument used to measure heartbeat, and it consists of 3 parts, namely chest piece, 2 earpieces, and a tube joining the chest piece and the earpiece and the earpieces. So this is the chest piece, these 2 are the earpieces, and this is a tube joining these 2 together. Next is pulse. So pulse is a throbbing sound, and this sound is generated when there is a blood flow. So when there is a blood flow in our arteries, this sound is produced, and this is felt in arteries, and this is measured by stethoscope, the instrument which we have just discussed about. Next is blood pressure. So this is sphygmomanometer. So sphygmomanometer is used to measure blood pressure, and blood pressure is the pressure which is exerted by our heart on our arteries. Next is blood pressure. So This is the pressure which is exerted by our heart on arteries, right? And this blood pressure is measured by a special instrument known as sphygmomanometer. So here is the picture of sphygmomanometer. So there could be many reasons when BP rises in our body. Those reasons could be like when we perform physical activities. In that case, heartbeats become faster and arteries become narrower in heart disorders. So whenever if there is an artery, this is the normal diameter of an artery. This is the normal diameter of an artery. And from this normal diameter, if the artery or the diameter of our artery reduces, so it causes blockage or it exerts pressure on the walls of our arteries, right? Next, constant high blood pressure can cause a stroke. Artery can burst in the brain, and as a result some consequences may be like paralysis may be occurred, permanent speech disorders could be occurred. There are some chances of even death of a person. Now we are about to move to another topic, that is blood group. So before moving ahead, it's important to know two terminologies, that is antigens and antibodies. So first, let's discuss about antigens. So antigens are those substances from our environment such as chemicals, bacteria, viruses or pollen grains. They trigger or provoke our immune system to release antibodies against them. So as a result, the antibodies which are present in our blood, which are present in our body, they start to kill these types of antigens and they recognize these antigens as some foreign bodies. Now come to the another terminology, that is antibodies. So antibodies are the chemical bodies which are released by our body to fight against an infection or foreign bodies or antigens, since antigens are the foreign bodies recognized by our body or antibodies. Now, blood groups. So there are 4 types: blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB and blood group O. So they are determined by antigens and antibodies which are present on RBCs. They are present on the surface of RBCs. On the surface of RBCs, both antigens and antibodies are present. So these are the types of antigens, antigen A and antigen B. People with blood group A have A antigens only. People with blood group B have B antigens only. People with blood group AB have both A and B antigens, both A and B antigens. People with blood group O have neither A nor B antigens. Now antibodies are present in the plasma of our RBCs, and there are 2 types, anti-A and anti-B antibodies. This is a tabular form in which blood group is written and antigens and antibodies are also written. Like in blood group A, the antigens present on RBCs is only A type, is of only A type, and antibodies of only anti-B type. This is A and this is anti-B, not anti-A, anti-B. Here in B blood group, antigen present is only of B type and antibodies of only anti-A type. Next, in blood group AB type, antigens present are both A and B type. And there are no antibodies present in the plasma. Blood group. Next is O blood group. In O blood group, none type of antigens are present, but anti-A and anti-B antibodies are present in plasma. And blood group and the person. Next is blood donation. So, you must have heard about the blood donation. So, it is a voluntary act of donating blood so that it can be used in case of emergency situation. So, what do you mean by these 2 terms, donor and recipient? So donor is a person who donates blood, and at a single time, only 420 ml of blood can be taken out from the body of that person. And recipient is the person who receives blood. And what is this? And what is a blood bank? So blood bank is the center where the blood is collected, segregated, tested and stored. Is stored until it is required by. Our next topic is blood transfusion. Transfusion is basically the transfer of blood. So transfer of blood from one person to another. So the person who is willing to donate blood, the person must be healthy. So a healthy donor must be there, and the person who is recipient, that is obviously seriously injured or ill. So blood transfusion or blood transfer is carried out among the same blood groups only. Same blood groups only, otherwise clumping or agglutination of blood. So blood transfusion or blood transfer is carried out among the same blood groups only. Same blood groups only, otherwise if there is the chance of different blood groups in one person, then there could be some chances of that the blood can be coagulated or clumped, and that is known as agglutination. Agglutination means when blood gets clotted. That is written here that transfusing inappropriate blood group can cause clumping or sticking of RBCs, that is known as agglutination, and ultimately death of the person. So for example, there is an artery, and in this artery, if then more than 2 RBCs get stuck, then what happens? It cannot be transferred, it cannot be passed through this artery, and as a result the person could even die, because the RBCs or blood cannot be pumped by our heart also, because there are sometimes very thin or narrow blood capillaries also present in our body. So this is the transfusion of different blood groups shown in a tabular form. This is a blood group O negative, gives to these groups and receives from these groups. So O negative gives, so the person with blood type O negative, they can give blood to all the type of recipients, or the recipients carry all the type of blood groups. For example, blood group A, person with blood group P, person with blood group AB, and person with blood group O. Okay. So this is the reason why they are known as universal donors, because they can give blood to anyone, and they can receive blood from O negative only. The person with blood group O positive, they can give blood to AB positive, A positive, B positive and O positive, but they can receive blood from O negative and O positive only. Person with blood group A negative can give blood to AB negative, AB positive, A positive and A negative. They can receive blood from the persons carry O negative type and A negative type of blood group. Next, persons with A positive type, they can give blood to both A positive and AB positive only, but they can receive blood positive, O negative, A negative and A positive. Persons with blood group B negative, they can give blood to B negative, B positive, AB negative and AB positive type of persons, and they can receive blood from O negative and B negative type of persons. The persons with blood group B positive, they can give blood to AB positive and B positive only. They can receive blood from O negative, O positive, B negative and B positive. The persons with blood group AB negative can give blood to AB negative and AB positive both, and they can receive blood to O negative, A negative, B negative and AB negative persons. Persons with blood group AB positive, they can give blood to AB positive only, but they can receive blood from everyone. And this is the reason why are they known as universal recipient. Universal recipient, because they can receive blood from everyone, or each type of blood, or the persons carry blood group A, B, AB and O. So the persons carry blood group O negative, they are known as universal donors, and the persons carry blood group AB positive are known as universal recipient. Same is written here that so universal donors are the persons with blood group O. Their RBCs have no antigens, so they can donate blood to any other group. Okay, since they have no antigens present on their RBCs, so their antibodies cannot recognize any of the foreign bodies on the surface. So no type of response can be shown. Next is universal recipients. So universal recipients are the persons who carry blood group AB type. Their RBCs have no antibodies, so they can receive blood from any blood group. Next, keeping the heart healthy. So there are some daily practices with the help of which we can keep our heart healthy. For example, some regular exercises and good food habits. So there are some benefits also, benefits of walking or regular exercises. Those benefits are good food habit and regular exercises. They increase the chances of our heart to remain fit. They reduce the risk of cardiac disorders or heart ailments. They reduce the body fat and control the weight. They maintain blood pressure also. Benefits of good food habits. The balanced meal helps to avoid malnutrition. Malnutrition is the lack of a balanced diet. Balanced diet is a type of diet in which all the type of food components are present. For example, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, etc. So malnutrition or starvation. Starvation is the lack of enough food to get energy and keeps us healthy. I am reading it out again, that balanced meal helps to avoid malnutrition or starvation and keeps us healthy. There are some good food habits. Those are, we must eat slowly. We should chew our food properly so that it can be masticated very well with the saliva. Next, chew the food properly. As I said, develop regular food habits. We should eat clean food which is kept protected from dust, houseflies and mosquitoes. So food must be kept covered with a lid. Eat properly cooked fresh food. Avoid oily and fried food as far as possible. Use clean utensils to serve and eat food. We should take adequate quantity of or adequate amounts of green salad. They provide fiber to our body and roughage also. They keep our gut healthy, and they also help to lower down the bad cholesterol in our body. So we should take adequate quantities of green salad, green vegetables and fruits in our diet. Next, we should drink plenty of water, and we make sure that the water we drink must be clean.